Hi there, I'm Jan Haldane and I'm a hypnotherapist and a coach based in New Zealand. And I want to talk to you about Reclaim Your Life, the self-study coaching program. Now, there's a little story behind the whole Reclaim Your Life after narcissistic abuse programs. And to start at the beginning, unfortunately, I had a narcissistic mother, which kind of set me up, as it does if you've had a narcissistic parent, to easily get into a relationship with a narcissist because, you know, that's what you're used to. You're used to having to accommodate their tantrums and their every wish, etc., etc. So this happened to me a couple of times in my life, and the last time was not that long ago, really, when I was a mature-aged woman with a lot of experience behind her in the coaching field and the hypnotherapy field, and also I'd written a book on relationships back in 2014. So I was kind of stunned when this happened to me. So I'm not someone who is just talking the talk about it. I've actually walked the walk, which is not an easy thing to do. So what motivated me to initially start creating these programs is that people were coming to me. Now, they're mainly women, but occasionally there was a guy, because they'd gone to other therapists, normally counsellors or psychologists, who really didn't understand the whole thing about narcissistic abuse in a relationship. Now, whenever a relationship breaks up, you know, it's really painful and there's all sorts of fallout. But when you break up with a narcissist, it can get really bad. And then you've got all those years of trauma when they essentially tried to destroy you by degree. So all these little microaggressions that gradually got more and more. And if you've been through a narcissistic relationship, you know what I'm talking about. And even without you knowing it, you have lost yourself because you're so busy trying to keep the peace, trying to accommodate them. So the first program I created was for therapists because I wanted to teach hypnotherapists and other complementary therapists how to actually help someone on their journey back to self. And you can't just apply, I mean, I've been a relationship coach, so I can tell you this from experience and from training. You cannot just apply the normal relationship coaching, counselling type of thing to a narcissist. They may come along, but they're only coming along to show how wonderful they are and put the other person down. So even if they've been to therapy, then it's probably as good as, well, they've been to therapy, but actually that's all they've got to say. They've been, but nothing's really happened. So long story short, I went on a big holiday in 2019. Thank goodness I did, way before COVID. And on that long trip, I took a notebook with me and I started writing an ebook called Hypno Rescue, Reclaim Your Life After Narcissistic Abuse. And that is part of the program, both for therapists, and this one that I'm talking to you about today, which is actually for anyone who's been in one of these relationships or who maybe is in one of these relationships and they're really starting to question, what's it all about? So this program is a done-for-you program. So it is the same program that I use for therapists, because what I'm doing with them is I'm actually teaching them how to deliver this program to you. Whereas in here, I am delivering the program myself to you. So what you get is 11 in-depth training videos. You get audios for healing, a self-care journal. You get to read some other people's narcissistic abuse stories, and I can tell you they are all true. Obviously, details have been changed, but they are all true, and some of them make your hair stand on end and think, oh my goodness. I've also got a private Facebook group, which you're very, very welcome to, to join. There's other like-minded people there. And so we go through essentially what is 7 weeks of a program. So if this has happened to you, if you've been in a really toxic, narcissistic, combative, abusive, antagonistic relationship, and you feel like you really want to get your life back, or you want the strength to be able to get out of that relationship, because you've probably been browbeaten on a daily basis about how you'd never be anything without this person, yada, 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 on it goes. They've got all the sorts of things that they say, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of it. So this program is for you. It has worked its magic with a lot of people over the years. I first started working with abusive relationships actually many, many years ago when I was a weight loss coach, and I had a lot of women coming to me ostensibly for weight loss, although some of them actually weren't really overweight, but it was a good excuse to come and see a coach, but really it was their relationship that was essentially poisoning their life, and in some cases actually literally making them extremely ill. So this is another thing that you've got to think about when you've come out of a relationship, or if you're in a relationship. They can literally make you ill. Your body is going to eventually respond to the trauma of their abuse. Now, this doesn't need to be physical abuse. And once upon a time, when I was a young woman, in one of these relationships, I thought, no, I'm not in an abusive relationship. He doesn't hit me. Went to see a counsellor. The counsellor, thank goodness, was an older woman who was very experienced. And she said to me, you know, you're in an abusive relationship. And I was arguing with her. So trust me, I've been there. It's not all about being hit. Emotional abuse, psychological abuse can actually take a harsher toll on you in a lot of ways than physical abuse. Now, I know that might be quite hard to get your head around, but after a while you'll understand it. And then of course, we've got financial abuse, sexual abuse. There's all sorts of abuse that can be in there. So what I am doing is actually giving you my coaching myself without doing it live for you, because I want to keep the costs down, because I want everyone to be able to access this that needs to access this. So I would really love to see you on the program, and don't forget you can join the Facebook group where I regularly post in there, and of course you'll have other people who are like-minded. So come along, join the program. Can't wait to see you there. Have an absolutely fantastic week, and it's bye from me.